look at investors who are actively investing in the public limited companies. Earlier we used to see relatively shorter period in time. Today we see even our own Indian mutual funds, public sector undertakings over there. We are seeing a relatively longer period. You are right, in the past it used to be mostly from the West, but this trend is changing. Again, the underlying fact is good governance, consistency in terms of business continuity, growth, performance orientation. If these are there, we do see funds who are looking at longer term, irrespective of the size of the company. I mean, across the sectors, we are seeing that trend.
Thank you. So, Jay, before we end the session, the last question with you and others can also respond, that do you see the emergence of, say, strong bond market in India? That is one thing which, say, is raised again and again. Any views on that?
I think the views are still mixed, right? There is a bond market, the maturity is still not as much as one would expect it to be. The traditional sources of fundings are there, the alternate fundings are there, the bond market I don't see is still deep enough, might take a little more time.
Rishi, any views?
Yeah, no, I am also not a big optimist in the near term on the bond market really taking off both in terms of size and depth and maturity. I think some of
There is no marketplace as such.
Yes, I mean, and I don't see the conditions that are conducive to that really playing out in the near term at least.
Any contrary view on the panel before we end?
So just one comment on the long-term patient capital. I think private equity has already shown it. If you look at Kedara, if you look at Chrys Capital, they're raising $2 billion plus funds now. So because the risk rewards there are already in their favor, the fundamental problem with India is, are you getting the right risk reward? For equity, they feel that, if things go well, they'll make a lot of returns. So that works out for them. But for credit, which is where we struggle, till the time IBC and legal systems are in place, the long-term patient capital is going to be a struggle. The only part of the patient capital which is coming in credit is at the higher end of the risk, which is the distress part, because at least you're trying to earn a 18%, 17, 18% dollar returns. At the performing credit end, I think people just think it's just not worth their while. So majority of the credit funds in India today are being raised through domestic capital. And that is not really a patient capital. In fact, it's almost like an impatient capital, for lack of better words. They typically want cash flows quickly. They want 2 to 3 years. So that remains, it's an interesting question. That remains the biggest challenge. The domestic institutions, if you look at insurance companies, can provide a long-term patient capital. But they're allowed to invest today 5% of that in alternatives, but they're hardly used up 1.5%. Because while the regulation has been set in place, but the practices, the risk appetite of the boards, the ecosystem is just not there. So, I mean, we are still some time away in credit.
Thank you. I think we end the session here.
Thank you.
So,
Rajesh, I would like to just add a point regarding policy advocacy by PhD. Now, no one can say for sure what was the final straw, but just before the RBI notification regarding the M&A financing came in, there was a delegation from PhD, including Mahesh, who went to meet the RBI governor, and they were very vocal about the old school DFI financing and M&A financing. So maybe the results are somewhere.
Three cheers for Mahesh Bhai and team who went to RBI. So, Mahesh, thank you very much for this opportunity. Lovely panel. I got lucky to be the part of this discussion. Thank you. And thank you once again. Yeah.
Thank you so much, panelists. It was a wonderful discussion. Also, may I request Sanjay and Jitendra ji to please join the stage and also hand over the mementos. we will now distribute the mementos. First to Rajesh, Narayan, Gupta. So, Rishi, Mandawat. Raghav, Ramdev. Jayashree, Satagopan. Kapil, Singhal. And Nikhil, Khandelwal. Thank you so much, panelists, once again. And may I request the volunteers to please set the stage for the next fireside session.